to our playoff predictions. Okay, where's this bracket at? Okay, so I got Philly meeting the Atlanta Hawks. I'll take Philly in a gentleman's sweep. Trey will have 145 piece. I think the games will be closer than we think, but Ben Simmons is gonna say, "Hey, Trey, not today, man." And then they also got Thibault, so like they just have too much size and length. And then there is no answer for Joel Embiid. Clint Capella, he ain't wide enough. He ain't got enough hips on him.
Yeah, I've listened to podcasts, and there are some people throwing out there's a world where Atlanta beats Philly, and that's not my world. I got Philly and probably 5.
If Philly gets Atlanta, I think they actually do sweep. They're just too long.
I can't do that as an Atlanta guy.
No, I got you. But if they play the Knicks, I would take them. I think that's a different series. I think they take the Knicks in 6.
5.
Yeah, I wanted to go 5. Play it safe.
The series that matters. Brooklyn, Milwaukee. I'm going Milwaukee. And here's why. Milwaukee has played well against Brooklyn. Drew Holiday, last time he was in the playoffs, they upset Portland, and Drew Holiday played it really well. Giannis it no longer has to be the only person on the offense who can actually create. So if you set that wall, you have PJ Tucker, one of the best corner 3 shooters in the NBA, who can also play tough physical defense, bump James and Kyrie around. You have Chris Middleton, who is practically 40, 50, 90. He's long. He's unreliable, but he's now your third option, not your second option. And then you have Budenholzer coaching for his life. Giannis out here trying to prove that he's just not this guy that he's been framed as, like that he can actually win the big games. And guess what? I don't think the Nets could actually build a wall against Giannis. But the Bucks can play. The Bucks can play good enough defense to have the game at a 115, a 120 game, and their offense is good enough to get there, especially against that terrible defense. I mean, it's rotten Swiss cheese. Them hoes stink.
Yeah, my only thing would be I agree with all of that minus the Bud comment. I just don't really have faith in Bud to make adjustments. Not that Steve Nash is like some great tactician, but Bud has proven not to be able to make adjustments. So that would be my only. Like he could shoot this series in the foot if he wanted to. So a little worried about that, but besides that, I agree with your points.
So who are you picking?
You sold me. I'm gonna go with Milwaukee.
You got Boyd. Excuse me. Sorry.
I agree. I'm going Milwaukee. I'm not saying you sold me because that Bud comment yet to be seen. I just think they're a different team. I think Drew Holiday adds something defensively. They do have a lot of length they can put on your Kyries, your James Hardens, and then at some point you're probably going to have Giannis body up KD in the last couple of minutes of the game. So I like them on the defensive end, and then I don't like Brooklyn trying to build a wall against Giannis. They just didn't have the personnel that Miami had last year to do that.
Brooklyn's wall looked something like Trump's.
Yeah. Not surprised at all if Brooklyn does win it, but I would. No. I pick Milwaukee to win that one.
So then we got Milwaukee, Philly in the Eastern Conference Finals. Giannis gets over the hump. And I can guarantee it.
That one, I don't know.
Yeah.
Philly can build a wall. They got all the personnel.
Oh, yeah. No, they can build a fucking Berlin Wall.
I trust Doc over Bud in the playoffs. Like, one has a title, one does not. So,
do you really trust Doc?
I trust Doc over Bud. I don't trust Doc over other elite coaches. I trust Doc over Bud.
Yeah, I trust Doc over Bud. unless Bud like really figures it out. But like, I mean, being the Atlanta coach, like watching him for what, 4 or 5 years, like I just don't have a lot of faith in him
62
to
and 20, and we got sent home in the first.
like. This is his MO. So like until
Yeah.
proven otherwise, like I'm still like very skeptical. I guess for my pick though, actually I can't even pick against Doc versus Bud. Like I'm gonna have to go Philly.
I'm not mad at you, and I more so want. I kind of want Giannis to get there because you remember how I threw out last year that the Heat were going to make the finals, my underdog. Yeah. Wild card, yeah. That's what I want to see happen. But I wouldn't be shocked if Philly goes there. I think it'll be a tough series. And if you ask me to bet a sizable amount of money on it, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm actually happy either way that one winds up because I want the process to get there. I do. He's had such a great season. I want to see him get there. But I'm also cool with Giannis finally getting over the hump. So I'm cool with that one shaking out either way.
I'm rooting for Jay personally. Yeah. Okay, so we get to the West. Do we think that Memphis will beat Golden State?
No.
They almost did the other day, but I think
That's not good enough.
I don't know if the game yesterday like takes a lot of air out of Golden State, but still in one game, I'm always picking Steph. So I would
I gotta
pick Golden State.
All right, so we got Golden State, Utah first round. Talk me in to We Believe Warriors 2.0.
It's as simple as Steph dropping 54 straight games, which is very possible. Like I personally don't think that's gonna happen. But like I also wouldn't be surprised.
But my boy Wiggs has arrived.
No, he has not.
Yeah, no.
I think Utah wins it, but I think the games are close.
So here is the thing, though. Does Donovan Mitchell try to go head-to-head with Steph? And what is his health like?
I think he does for sure one game, possibly two, and he loses those games.
I think Jordan Clarkson tries to go head-to-head with Steph. Jordan Clarkson will like, now's my time.
The other two.
Jordan is like, this is the last game matchup y'all been waiting on.
Yeah. Yes. Between those two, like I think they definitely try to go head-to-head. Mainly Donovan Mitchell, at least for like 1 to 2 games, and probably I'd say like game 1 and 2 or something like that. And then he's like, okay, this isn't working, and then like they fall the line and they win in 6.
Does Golden State pick and roll Rudy Gobert off the court?
Yes. You got to get him out on the perimeter.
Steph crosses Rudy Gobert off the court. Like he's literally going to leave the field of view.
Bro, and that's why I struggle when people talk about him as Defensive Player of the Year, because I know what he does day in and day out for that team and how he anchors that team defensive scheme. But when you just have like a good player and you're asking him to play against somebody one-on-one, and again, no one can guard Steph one-on-one. But when you see how bad Rudy is, and like I remember that one game where Chris Paul was just like, all right, it's crunch time. Where's Rudy? Get him out. Let me get the switch. Get Rudy over here. And it's like, hold on, DPOY, Rudy? You want his head? Or when Embiid gave him, 40 and 20? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
DPOY.
honestly, I think he's getting like the MVP treatment of like, what is he going on? Like possibly, did he win the last 2 years? He won the last 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, numbers ain't changed.
So he's coming up on like 3, and people are just tired of it. And Ben Simmons like emerged as like an actual perimeter and low post like stopper. So like we're just like nitpicking Rudy. Like
Rudy
I understand your point
last year.
That's also very valid. And I think people are just like tired of him, and also just like kind of nitpicking his game because it's like he's a big guy. Like he's not going to be able to guard a perimeter. Like that's just not his game.
No,
like,
I know.
One of the shiftiest point guards of all time, and I'm supposed to be pointing fingers at some 7-footer who can't guard him out on the perimeter. Like other guards have trouble guarding him out on the perimeter, so I have a problem there. And then the best big man in the league, or one of the best big men in the league, if you want to go Joker. But Joel Embiid, one of the best big men in the league, giving him a 40-20. That's like when Shaq
Now, that's
destroyed
a
Dikembe
problem.
Mutombo, when
Yeah.
Dikembe Mutombo was DPOY, like the best player in the league, presumably, like they're going to do that to you. But if he can stop the other, what, 320 players in the league, like I'll live.
There's only like 3 good big men in the league, though, as an offensive skill set. But anyways, so we got Utah winning that series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be some crazy Bogdanovich and crazy Joe Ingles games.
So what we got in the 4-5? We got Luka versus the Clippers in the 4-5. The Clippers tried to set themselves up to play against them, which I thought was odd because they played great against Portland. Like they bust Portland's ass. And Luka made that series very, very close last year. And I mean, as much as I've said, let's not crown Luka. I mean, he still has not been he still hasn't gotten a home playoff series yet. Even though he's the best player since LeBron James. I think this is going to be a 7-game series. I trust Luka to close out a game more than I trust the Clippers.
I got Clips in 6. I still think they're going to win. I just don't trust. I don't trust the Mavs. I trust Luka. I feel like Luka's got even less help this year than he had last year. So I think it's just going to be the same result. And
Steven Silas is gone, and I think he mattered to them. I have the Clippers winning. I say it's going to go 7, but that doesn't. I trust Luka in the tight games, but I don't think every game is going to be tight.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clippers on this one. I think Ty Lue gets them over the hump, and like we'll see what happens with PG and Kawhi this year.
There's
like,
no bubble.
Mainly PG.
Bubble. We got playoff Rondo, baby. He's gonna bring it.
Yeah, I think they have like a little bit more of an edge to them this year, which will hopefully take them further. In Dallas, to Eric's point, they didn't really get better. So this is really the same matchup, but the Clippers, in my opinion, got better. So I'm going to take Clippers probably in 6.
All right, so we got Denver, Portland in the 3-6. Portland is actually favored to win the series over Denver. I'm rooting for Dame. I'm rooting for Dame. But
are you rooting for Dame?
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for Dame because I mean they don't have an answer for Dame or CJ, but at the same time, there is no answer for Jokic. Like he's probably going to average 30, 15, and 11 in the series.
But like, is that enough?
It depends on if Austin Rivers puts his cape on, and if he puts his cape on, it's not. You better keep that Austin Rivers cape off. If he puts that cape on, you know what, Joker, go ahead and pack it up, buddy, because you're going back to Denver.
What about the second best Porter Jr. triplet?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Michael Porter Jr. is the real wild card and can literally tip the series one way or the other. This is honestly one of the series where I'm like the coin. This is where it starts to get like kind of weird for me. I too am reading for Dame, so I'm gonna go Portland and 7. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just think if the games are tight, I trust Dame at the end of the game, like more than probably anybody in the NBA.
I think I think the series is going 6. I'm rooting for Dame, but I think Denver's going to win it. But I think period, it's going 6. I think Denver's going to win in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if Portland wins in 6. I just think it's going to end in 6 games one way. It got 50-50 chance to go either way.
I don't know. Every time Dame gets a chance in like the first or second round to like just end somebody, he does it. So it's hard to bet against him in that scenario.
It is.
So in the 2-7, we got Phoenix and the Lakers. I got the Lakers in a gentleman's sweep. And I think the only game that Phoenix wins is Devin Booker goes off for fucking 40. DeAndre Ayton, just you see what AD did to him without LeBron. Phoenix, great regular season run. It's unfortunate, CP3, that this great season that you've had, all this that you've done for this team is going to end up with a first round playoff exit and terrible ESPN. segment saying, "Is CP3 a playoff player?" It's like, well, hold on, man. Was his team better than the Lakers? No, the Lakers are favored. The Lakers are the better team. The Lakers are the favorites to win the West, and they're going to win in 5.
I got Lakers in 6 just in case they still got some rust.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lakers in 6. I'm not entirely sure about like their rust and or injury situation.
You know
So
what? I'll go to 6, and not because of rust, because LeBron has no problem like losing playoff games because he's very comfortable. Be like, all right, whatever, bro. Like we'll win tomorrow. Just relax.
yeah, I could see them easily like, but then again, like I don't think Phoenix is gonna win the series, but like Phoenix is also like a good team. So like
Yeah.
Ron can only do that for like maybe one game, and then they'll probably just like straight up lose a game just like because they were not the better team. So like I could see this going to 7, but I'm gonna say 6.
Okay, so then getting back to the top. So we got Utah versus the Clips. Clips. I think the Clips finally get out of the second round. They get to where they are supposed to be. Although I think Utah does provide a real matchup for them with just they just have a good roster with good players. And let's get back to that 2011 season. Obviously there's not a player type like Dirk there, but they have like just they have the good supporting cast and the one good player who you can count on at the end of a game. I just think that Kawhi and Paul George make life hell, absolute hell for Donovan Mitchell, and Rondo sets the table, and the Clippers play good basketball and they win that series.
Yeah, I got them winning. I don't really have like I guess like maybe 4-2.
Yeah, I think Clips in a very tough 6 games, but I also I don't trust the Clippers.
I don't
so.
either.
I'm not sold on them, but
I really hate that Ty Lue is their coach because I just actively root against them, but I want to root for Ty Lue. But I just want to see what happens if the Clippers don't get to the conference finals and Kawhi's sitting out here in Miami. He's like, "Hey, bro, I know you did all that LA shit, and I know you love LA, but we got a roster spot open and some cap space."
You know what? Give me Utah in 6, man. I don't trust the Clippers. I don't. And this is actually like this Utah team is good, and I've seen the Clippers lose to teams that they're better than. So I'm taking Utah.
And it's not Utah's first time either. Like Donovan Mitchell's been in the playoffs his entire career, and they are a rim out by Michael Conley from beating Denver last year, who made it to the Western Conference Finals. And I think Utah's better this year than they were last year.
Yeah, no, I think Utah is not Utah of the past 3 years, but I also think the Clippers are not the Clippers of the past 3 years. At least I hope they aren't for their sake.
Yeah, Ty Lue be on the chopping block. So we got Portland, LA? Oh, Braun in 5.
Yeah, nothing more to add on that.
They couldn't do anything with them down low last year, and they added another big who's not Dwight.
So you know something about that, and I thought I was going to hit it in our regular season stuff, but we didn't give the Lakers too much love because unlike the mainstream sports networks who just talk about the big names just because it gets clicked, we actually want to talk about stuff that happens and that we actually enjoyed. I think that if you see the way the Lakers played in crunch time yesterday, that team looked very much like the teams they were trotting out on the court last year when they made the run, right? You had Caruso in there in crunch time. You had AD at the 5, and then you had like your wild card, who would be like one day it may be Danny Green, one day it may be Morris.
KCP.
You know what I mean? Yeah, or KCP. Yeah, and so but they had they had LeBron, Caruso, KCP, Wesley Matthews, and AD down the stretch, and I think that they picked up Dennis Schroeder because he was going to pick up the slack in the regular season for LeBron and AD having planned rest, but unfortunately injuries happened, so they didn't plan the rest like they may have wanted to. And then they picked up Andre Drummond just because they knew he could fill a stat sheet because of their injuries, but they have no intentions on actually relying on those players in the postseason. It's going to look like it looked last year when it mattered.
Yeah, I don't think those guys are going to be like on like what is Undercoming going to do unless you need like him to foul somebody. Like
I mean, because he doesn't play defense. He just rebounds and he's a black hole underneath the basket. But he's
yeah,
not
at that point,
out
like AD is a good enough a rebounder where like it's not a liability for AD. It's not like he needs somebody to help him out in that. And Schroeder is a defensive liability. Like he's a pest, but like he weighs probably 170 soaking wet. Like what's he
and
gonna
he
do in
wants
the
a contract.
playoffs? And I
And
didn't
he's
like
trying
him in Atlanta, to be honest. Though, like I'm partial.
What you thinking, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys hit on it.
So Battle of LA. LeBron versus Kawhi. Skip versus Shannon. Braun in 6.
I'd take them in 6 also.
And it might be 5 because I think LeBron will really try to disrespect him, like on some. Like he's not going to have his bullshit game where where if the jumper ain't hit, he still keeps shooting it. You know how he sometimes be bullshitting. He's like, nah, bro. I really want to put my neck on their throat. My neck on their throat. I want to put my foot on their throat because of all that shit they was talking last year. And oh no, we different now. Nah, bro. Y'all are the Clippers. Back to the basement you go.
Yeah, I think give them 6 as a respect, even if they even make it. But yeah, I feel like there's a vendetta there, and LeBron's gonna come correct. So
Then I got LeBron beating
Lakers
Giannis in the finals, and Giannis now no longer catches the heat of being the guy who couldn't do it. He shoots back up to being like the 3rd best player in the league, even though like he probably should have been there.
Shoots
Or
back up to
maybe he
LeBron in
shouldn't.
08 after making the finals.
Yeah, but he still didn't do what he needed to do to actually win a championship.
Yeah.